Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and I'm super excited to be here at this Product Management Conference in Chișinău. Și vă mulțumesc încă o dată, în special că sunteți cu noi în ziua asta frumoasă și nu ați ieșit, nu ați fugit la plajă. Și sper să avem o zi cât mai bună. Bun. Today I'm gonna share with you some of the powers of design thinking and how it can shape the vision of a product. Every great product starts with a vision, a dream of solving a problem or making people's lives better. As founders, we usually have a clear vision of what we want to achieve. However, we must understand that we have to be adaptable, and some of the first challenges that we face are that we need to understand that the vision is a process and is something that has to evolve as we learn by talking to our users. First of all, a few words about me. As I was saying, my name is Andrei Brad. I graduated computer science and artificial intelligence, and especially when I moved to London, nobody believed that in Romania you could learn artificial intelligence a while ago. And I've been working at the beginning of my career for 7 years in television and advertising, and actually one of my jobs, I was here in Chișinău maybe 20 years ago when Moldova was playing Netherlands, and I was in Tiraspol broadcasting the match for Eurosport. I then moved to sales and marketing and worked for various companies, and like Tornado in Romania or Red Hat, and also maybe 14 years ago, I started my journey in building software products. And back then, I didn't even know that what I was doing was actually product management. And I had a few startups in Romania, and then after a while, I've decided to move to London 9 years ago in October. And I wanted to learn, and just like Elena said, to be at the center of innovation, at least in Europe. I'm very happy I did it. I've learned a lot. I was involved in major products, and I joined, for instance, it's a very interesting meetup in London called the Product Group London. It's like a roundtable conversation where each month, a lot of product managers from different companies come and share their experiences, and we usually pick a subject, we talk, and we explore that subject from various perspectives, because sometimes the same matter can mean something else in a startup or in a big company. And I had also my own startup 5 years ago. We raised money from Bethnal Green Ventures in London and Gapminder, and then it didn't go well, some co-founders' problems, and I moved on. I had some more startups. I've started another one in mobility. We were supposed to launch in spring 2020. The pandemic came and everything went away. We lost everything. I've started again. And the last year, I had my first proper job. I made my mom happy. Finally, I was working for a factory, no longer doing something that she still doesn't understand. And right now, I still have to pinch myself I was head of Residency and AI products for Rolls-Royce. And a lot of my friends were asking if I got a company car, but actually Rolls-Royce cars belong to BMW, so I was working for the other Rolls-Royce, and that was doing mostly civil aviation and defense and power systems and electrics and so on. Things changed again, and this summer I joined Antler, which is a pre-idea startup accelerator in London, coming from Singapore, and I was one of the members of the cohort. 69 founders, 24 nationalities, 10 weeks of intense speed dating and fighting to find your co-founder and start a new company. And right now I have an inception of a vision that's called Verbalize. And hopefully you're going to find out more about it after a while. And just to wrap up my presentation, as a fun fact, my father was born in Chisinau, and he left when he was only 2 because of the Second World War. And my parents were divorced, and my mom's name is actually Moldoveanu. So hopefully you consider me one of yours as well. So today we're going to talk about the design thinking and how it helps shape the vision of a founder. And we're going to walk through some notions and techniques. We're going to talk about the differences between product owners and product managers and the search for product market fit. We're going to talk a bit about the North Star and how it can help us, guiding us in our journey, about some road mapping techniques, and also some a version of building a roadmap focused on problems instead of solutions or features. And what I consider very important is, while it's very well to know the theory and to know different frameworks and techniques, and we also need to understand that we have to be adaptable and to try to understand the actual situation and the setup and the team and the specificity of each product. So probably you've seen this photo a lot, but I really love it. I love using it. And in general, what we try to achieve as soon as possible is our focus should be to build the product that helps us learn from our users as soon as possible. The design thinking process starts with understanding, asking a lot of questions, talking to different users, and trying to spot the not so obvious things and problems that they mention. Because if we would do a statistical approach, we will probably find the obvious things that anybody can spot. We can also analyze the data and try to articulate the problem or a short list of problems that we want to solve. We then move to brainstorming a lot of ideas that could be the starting point for potential solutions, and in an ideal scenario, we will start prototyping and to simulate the ideas and get feedback from the actual customers as soon as possible. In the end, based on the feedback, we have to iterate rapidly and improve the product and the understanding, and these feedback loops actually never stops, even after we have product market fit. And while the design thinking requires for us to understand the users, it's important to also understand if what we want to achieve is feasible from the technological perspective, and also to include the business goals of our shareholders. This design thinking is a method that we can apply in not only in product development in software, but even this conference we can consider a product, and I'm sure the organizers are learning a lot from each session, from each conversation they have with you and us, the speakers and the participants. In my role as a product manager, I've seen in different companies that there is sometimes a confusion between the roles of the product owners and the product managers. And the definitions that we, when we talk, for instance, at the meetup that I've mentioned and in our community, the understanding is that the product owner is the one that manages the backlog and ensures that the development teams understand the requirements. It's pruning the backlog, maybe doing prioritization, and so on. As a product manager, on the other hand, it's important to understand the greater view. And the product manager is the one who aligns the business strategy with the user needs and continuously iterates on the product and improves the vision and the execution of the product. Unfortunately, in my experience, almost 14 years now, as a product manager, I've seen so many product managers avoiding or not paying enough attention to what the market needs. And even if maybe some of the founders have a great knowledge or a great vision, sometimes they tend to be obsessed with their vision of the product, and sometimes I was saying yes, sometimes I was trying to help them understand, but what I've seen is that in most of the cases, if you don't act as the market demands, probably you're going to end up building a product that no one will use and will never achieve product market fit. So the main job as a product manager is to decide what not to do most of the times. And as I was saying, it is important. Sorry. So usually the life of a product looks like this. We start, we have a lot of energy at the beginning, and then the reality jumps in. And our confidence goes down a lot, and we start doing a lot of experiments or pivoting. If we're lucky, something sticks, and maybe we will achieve product market fit, and that's the moment when everything starts to come together. The product market, what is the product market fit? It's the moment when you realize that the customers are, you can find customers at the speed that you didn't expect, and you actually spend less on acquiring customers than the profit that they bring you. And or another way of putting it is, when increasing the investment in the business, the income is also increasing directly proportional, and everything becomes replicable. I had this conversation many times, and a lot of people start pouring a lot of money in products that don't have product market fit, and that's usually just a way of wasting money. So unless you have product market fit, every marketing effort, every sales effort, I've seen company spending incredible amounts of money. I've seen company that raised even Series A or Series B and don't have product market fit yet. So everything is about the holy grail of everything we do in product and software development is searching for the product market fit. And product market fit usually looks like this. This is the moment when we don't have to chase our customers, and it's the moment when the customers start chasing us, and it's the switch when we can't give them enough of the product at their demand. So the only way to win is to learn faster than anyone else. It's a quote from Eric Ries, and I suppose all of you, if you're here today, read his book. And my advice for today is to trust the process, not the vision. And it's never a good idea to fall in love with the idea. Experimentation is something that has to be embodied in any product manager, and by learning we will reach better decision. And another learning that I've had is we tend as humans to start with smaller things. In product management, it's always better to start with the riskiest assumptions. And we need to test, and it's better to find out if it's a no, even if we're talking about desirability, feasibility, or viability. And experimentation is a whole chapter, and I can talk for hours about prototyping and different techniques, and probably, hopefully, we'll have another opportunity to do that as well. And just as Elena was mentioning, as product managers, we live in a world where everything is uncertain, and we have to embrace it. And that's probably one of the most important characteristics of a good product manager and entrepreneur. I'll skip this for now. Hopefully you're gonna get the presentation. It's a very interesting and one of the best and most compressed walking through the mindset of an entrepreneur, and they also mention the lean canvas and how you can use the lean canvas as a tool, as a dashboard of the sanity of your startup. Apparently, it's my old presentation. Sorry for my so I was mentioning the North Star. So having a North Star is one of the frameworks that it's important to be aware of. And just like in the old days, the North Star was guiding the navigators on the seas, one of the frameworks that I've seen a lot of times in many companies is where you decide on something that guides you through the process, and usually it has to provide value to the user. So using a vanity matrix as a North Star is also not a good idea. Some of the road mapping techniques that I recommend, and as I was saying, it's very important to understand where you are in your product's life. So for instance, one of the techniques is the vision-driven road mapping. This is where when we start a product and we try to build the easiest, and we want to learn the most riskiest assumption. And for instance, it can be a prototype, it can be a proof of concept, and we need to focus just on the most important parts. And sometimes engineers tend to focus on building the perfect backend, paying a lot of attention to security, and security doesn't mean a thing unless you have product market fit and you start providing value to the user. It doesn't mean anything. Another technique is based on the user interviews, and while having tens of user interviews, my approach is always trying to understand who the early adopters could be, and focused all the attention and all the learnings on helping them, because they're the one who are going to ignore some of the mistakes that you have in the early versions of the product, and they will become your ambassadors in the future. Another version of the persona technique is sometimes as users, we also wear many hats. So it's important to understand if And the same person can be the accountant and the operation managers or the one applying or selling. And you need to focus on the right, even inside the company, even if the company has that problem, you need to identify who is the person or the role, who's covering the role that you want to solve the problem. And the last technique that I want to mention is the one that is goal-driven. And for instance, this technique is very useful when you want to optimize a feature, a funnel, or you want to improve some of the metrics that I've mentioned. In this case, I've seen a few frameworks that identify or propose to build like a pyramid that starts with the vision and then the North Star. Then you need to understand what is the business model that you want to achieve, what is the jobs to be done that the users want to focus on. And whenever you want to prioritize something, when you want to decide if you want to build a specific feature and you want to say yes or no, it's better to understand and to prioritize those features that actually help move the North Star. Another framework that I really like is the one focused on problems and where we identify when we divide the problems between what can we build now, what are we going to build next, and what are we going to build someday. And for instance, whatever you have in someday in your backlog, it doesn't even matter. Probably you're never going to build that. And it's and now it's not the backlog, it's it should reflect, it should be a document that reflects what are your priorities as a company or as a product today. Unfortunately, my time is up in my understanding. So I will please reach out to me and connect me on LinkedIn. And I'm a big believer in product management and design thinking. And RisersNet, it's a non-profit that I've started with a friend of mine exactly to support startup founders in their mission to moving from, I don't know, a corporate career to starting something innovative. And we did a few events, and actually that's how I met Mary at the beginning of this year in Timișoara. So thank you very much. I hope you learned something today.